And look at that. Mewtwo with Shadow Ball. And look at that face. That is the face of a man that was not expecting Mewtwo with Shadow.
Yes! So this is J-Rose. He's one of the biggest OG Pokemon content creators. And he actually did a full blind playthrough of our Romhack, which today we are going to be reacting to. All right, so he starts out just really giving like a bit of a background as to why this Romhack was made. And he's gonna go Cyndaquil, which is actually, I would say, still probably the best pick. All right, so starting off with the Falkner fight. Very curious to see how he's gonna react to this because the Noctowl is bulky and even Mareep is not like amazing for this fight.
And then came out Noctowl. Noctowl still
big
does
mud
no
slap.
Mud slap, so it is still Falkner, as you know. But you may have also noticed a really cool aesthetic change.
So yeah, Mareep, as intended, wasn't able to just give this fight a clean sweep.
Cyndaquil beats Noctowl.
There we go. So
honestly, didn't really notice too much
nothing
different.
crazy there.
The original Falkner tends to pick super effective moves as well. So at this point, other than some wild Pokemon differences and a difference in the gym leader, felt like I was playing just Pokemon Crystal.
That's what we want. That is what we are here for, and I love to see that.
As I show you the Bugsy battle,
heading
I
into
had noticed
Bugsy.
other changes in both wild Pokemon.
So he has a Quilava, which is basically going to make the Bugsy fight free. It's just so easy in this situation, but I we'll see.
But again, so far it didn't feel totally different.
Doesn't feel totally different.
This Ledian
Love to hear that.
But because
Now
the
he's got
Pokemon were
Scyther.
pretty weak, I was able to win, although that cut seemed to do a lot
Woo!
more damage.
Yes.
And that's when I realized that
Strong
in this
cut.
game, cut, after it's not very effective to Quilava, has been changed into a bug move.
Yeah.
Interesting. It also has an increased critical hit ratio. Again, the giant Google document. If you were to play this game as a Nuzlocke, it is interesting to think that every single Pokemon is somewhat viable, which is something he was going for, and I think a really, really cool concept, looking at Pokemon from a modern lens. And
yeah, I did feel like buffing a lot of Pokemon in some ways goes against the feel of Gen 2 having nothing but terrible Pokemon. But that kind of comes back to the balancing act of you got to think, okay, if this Pokemon is so bad it's never getting used anyway, is it even part of the Gen 2 experience anymore? And well, okay, let's buff it, and then at least now it can be part of the game.
when I get to Whitney, you really see my team start to take focus. We have
he's
my
got the
favorite
Kadabra.
Pokemon, Kadabra, with Confusion and Thunder
Whitney?
Punch. In this game, Kadabra cannot
Love
learn
that.
Ice Punch
Kadabra
or Fire
goes
Punch,
out.
which was very interesting. It's definitely a way that Kadabra gets super overpowered.
Yeah.
You'll also notice
Oh
Whitney
my
has a
gosh.
Teddy Ursa. Teddy Ursa barely appears in Pokemon Crystal, so giving Whitney it makes a lot of sense. Miltank went for rollout, but in this game, Miltank has a Miracle Berry equipped. It's the Gen 2 equivalent of the Lum Berry, and it heals all statuses. Now I'm using one of my favorite Pokemon, Weepinbell, trying to knock...
Weepinbell and Victory Bell are really good in this game, so actually pumped to see him using it.
I have a Flaffy from Falconer's Gym. It's not able to knock it out.
He's gonna
and so
wipe!
for the first time,
He's
I
gonna
actually
wipe!
don't first try
Yes!
victory a gym
We
leader.
got him.
Pretty interesting. Of course, we're missing a lot of my...
I just am excited. I like, it's not that I want people to struggle, but I just like when we see that the game is not an absolute breeze.
And even to Miltank, even though it got a critical hit,
Yeah,
Razor Leaf's
there
a
we go.
2
Second
KO,
run,
and
you know,
yeah.
I think that's Crystal Legacy. You might get tripped up the first fight, but then you're like, oh, okay, I need to take it seriously. And usually you win on the second one.
Why wouldn't I just play Heart Gold, Soul Silver? Well, let me show you Morty's battle.
Okay.
That's where SmithPlays really starts to
Yes.
become creative
Yes.
and make some really interesting design changes.
Yeah, see, we wanted to go for a slow, subtle push into different.
I actually have my final team in place at this point, and I lead with
Dude,
Houndour,
Morty is a menace.
And you can see
Morty is
the
a
punter,
pure menace.
Not with Ghastly, but we
Look
one-shot
at
it
that.
with
One-shots
Bite,
it, but he's-
something interesting is about to happen.
Yeah.
Morty sends out Stantler. As a big fan of Pokemon Stadium 2, this felt very on brand.
Okay, okay.
My Girafarig was able to take it out,
Nice.
but then comes out Misdreavus, which is barely used in the original game. It's able to knock out
He's
Girafarig.
playing well here.
And then you can see it goes for Shadow Ball, which
Woo.
does a ton of damage, more than you'd expect. Gengar is also going for Shadow Ball, but don't worry, I have my Eevee here. It's not quite Vaporeon, and Gengar still has the Dream Eater strat, but here is where we have Kadabra to knock out Gengar.
Nice.
And I believe every dark move from Generation 2 ended up becoming physical. And
It's true.
Shadow Ball, the most prominent ghost move,
The only
became
good ghost
special.
move.
So SmithPlays just decided to swap the two. Make dark physical, ghost special. That really caught me off guard, especially with the trainers. And
It makes them way stronger.
so, really cool, very interesting change. I like it. It feels in the spirit of Generation 2. It's fairly simple, and yet it adds a bit of a modern twist based on what we know now.
Okay, I appreciate that. So the Ghost Dark swap wasn't actually our idea. There are other ROM hacks that have done it, but it's just such a good idea. So I'm glad that other people like it as well.
So far, the game has seemed pretty easy because it has been pretty easy.
Yeah.
But as I insinuated earlier,
Yeah.
the difficulty is about to ramp up. As we battle Chuck, you'll notice he has 4 Pokemon, not 2, and he has Hitmontop. He also has Sudowoodo, which is not, in fact, a fighting type. I have
Gen 1 and 2 Bruno is a fighter. He gets rock type, so it felt appropriate to give Chuck an updated rock type for flyer coverage.
but Girafarig is able to come in and knock it
Yeah,
out.
not too bad.
I'm
2
still
psychic
winning
types.
on my first try, but I can tell the gym leaders are using more advanced strategies.
Yeah.
They have more Pokemon. Thus far, it's only resulted in 1 loss to Whitney, but I had a feeling that trend probably wouldn't continue. And unfortunately, I was correct. Jasmine leads
Hey,
with Skarmory.
Jasmine. I am so curious to see what his response is going to be to the Caesar.
I switch in Vaporeon after I'm confused. Drill Peck does a ton of damage
Ooh.
and actually outspeeds.
Oh my god.
Notice that Skarmory is at level 35, the level that
Oh, he is
Steelix
under-leveled.
in the original Crystal. And then we get Corsola. Wasn't expecting Surf Corsola, and even
he's
my
got-
Weepin' Bell's Razor
my-
Leaf
What?
unable to knock out Corsola.
Oh
in
my
one hit.
gosh.
Now out comes Scizor.
Oh, this is
a
it.
perfect counter to Weepin' Bell. I'm just gonna let it faint, but it goes for Metal Claw, knocks me out. Normally, I'd use Kadabra with Fire Punch. Not a thing.
Oh,
and Scizor
no.
has Twin Needle, knocks me out. That's probably gonna knock out Girafarig as well.
Oh, he's in the
I go
rain.
for
That's why
Rock
he isn't
Smash.
going
Not nearly
Houndoom.
good enough. You may wonder why not Houndoom, because I was waiting for the rain to stop. It did. Houndoom knocks out
Nice.
Scizor, and now out comes Magneton.
Whew.
It uses Thunder, meaning Jasmine is going for Rain Dance Thunder strats.
Yes.
The timing didn't work out, so I'm able to knock it out. But Steelix has Earthquake, as opposed
Yeah,
to just
there
Iron
it
Gale.
is.
And without Fire
And
Punch,
that's-
it actually has Crunch. And you can see my face.
Dude, the
That
reaction.
was the look. That is the look of a person who was not expecting what just happened. And yet,
Yes. Gen 2 normally is like kind of good, and then just so easy. And I think this is where people get tripped up because like every fight is harder, but because the jump from the mid-game fights is so much more, I think it's tripping people up, and I like it. So one way to do this easier is just go to the Lake of Rage, do all the rocket stuff, then you get like a few more levels, and then fight the next few gym leaders back to back.
Thunder knocks me out, and it looks like we're going to lose, right? But surprisingly, we don't. Why? Because I get a really clutch burn in a second.
Oh,
Flame Wheel,
that
it
is
burns,
huge.
Thus, Steelix doesn't knock me out. and we outspeed
Dang.
knock out
And
Scizor.
there it is. GG.
Had I left Vaporeon, it probably would have been able to surf. And honestly, I was just...
Yeah, good water type is the best answer to Steelix.
How about Price? Will he be even harder than he is normally? You betcha.
Yeah, Price's typing is bad, so we had to just give him really strong moves to make him feel good, and he feels strong.
Price doesn't lead with Seal. He leads with Cloyster, a physical defensive monster who is
Yeah.
water type and is able
that's good
to
damage.
not quite
Oh.
one-shot Houndoom. Hence, it's one of my favorites.
Don't think I'd
Then
want to
comes
lose
out
Houndoom
Dugong.
here.
He just simply tried to make the mechanic that already existed better, which I actually think is very interesting and what sets this apart from a game like Heart Gold Soul Silver.
Yeah, exactly.
What also sets it apart is that my Kadabra's Thunder Punch is a special move, so I'm able to use it to knock out the Duke.
Yes. The whole Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch was too much, but Kadabra still needed a secondary sort of offensive move, and Thunder Punch felt great for it.
But now, Sneasel, the perfect counter to Kadabra,
Woo!
comes out. Unfortunately, I don't have a good swap in, so I'm
Yeah,
going to have to
that's
sacrifice
tricky.
Kadabra. And now, I don't know what I'm going to
Oh,
use.
man.
Hopefully Houndoom outspeeds.
I don't think it
doesn't,
will.
And Sneasel
No.
goes for Blizzard. Now, I've been told that Sneasel had its special attack buffed significantly so that it actually could do good damage. Its physical attack isn't too shabby either. That feint attack did quite a lot. And then
Oh,
I missed like I meant
no.
to go for Stomp.
Oh, no.
It goes for Shadow Ball, a special move. but since Reflect is down,
Nice.
Bite knocks it out. Now comes out the final Pokemon,
Okay,
Piloswine.
so a
with
few more runs
Earthquake.
he's got in.
It tanks the Flame Wheel,
I
knocks
think
me out.
he's looking
but
pretty
I have
good here.
Vaporeon.
Yeah.
Even though it has a berry, I actually outspeed.
There it
Piloswine
is.
is still fairly slow, even
Nice,
with its buff.
nice.
And this is when my opinion on the hack started to go from, okay, to, interesting.
Yes, I love that. That's what we wanted. I didn't want the ROM hack to just start with like so much new stuff. I want you to kind of like find your way into it and I like allow it to feel a lot more natural. So I appreciate that so much.
However, this would also be a good time to mention something I didn't like with the hack.
Ooh,
It still
I'm so ready for criticism. I want to hear it.
kept the Team Rocket section, and although they did buff a lot of the trainers and give them more interesting Pokemon, so you're not just fighting Rattata and Zubat and Ekans again and again,
Yep.
it's still a lot of long, tedious battles that are fairly easy.
Super fair.
I will say, however, this game does a better job balancing levels and at least making this section feel like a good place to level up.
Yeah, that's really what this section is for me too. It's not the most fun, but it absolutely does give you so much needed experience and definitely something we considered. Tried to make the fights more interesting, but there really is only so much you can do with Team Rocket's sort of archetype.
Anyway, let's go show off the Claire battle before we get
Claire's
to
up
what I think is
next.
the best part of this game, the Elite Four. Because
Oh, did he say the best part of the game, Elite Four? I love that.
no new Pokemon were added, I was interested to see what Claire would send out
Yeah.
first, and it's Dragonair. We have and can knock out the first Dragonair and almost the
Nice.
second Dragonair.
That's
I
solid.
go for Vaporeon here because it also knows Ice Beam. Unfortunately, this Dragonair happens to have Thunderbolt. Now out comes Gyarados. I'm not
There is
totally
the
surprised by
Gyarados.
this. And you can
Heart
also
Gold, Soul
see
Silver.
I've evolved Weeping Bell to Victory Bell. Weeping Bell is not... Oh, wow. It uses Fly. It flies now? It flies... Oh, my God.
Dude, there's something so weird about the first time you see Gyarados use Fly in Gen 2. Look, I saw Flying Gyarados in Arceus Legends, so that is the singular reason I put it into this game.
Anyway, Girafarig knows Thunderbolt.
Oh,
It doesn't
easy,
one-shot Gyarados,
easy.
but it two-shots it, and it doesn't faint. Lapras comes out next, so this is a hybrid water dragon
Yeah,
team.
that's it.
That
Sea
would
dragons.
make sense, thematically appropriate.
Nice.
Lapras
He
doesn't
approves.
one-shot
En-
Kadabra,
enough.
which knocks it out. And now out comes Kingdra.
Scary Kingdra. This is not the hardest fight in the game, but Kingdra always does scare me a little bit.
I go for Bite. It goes for Smokescreen. Bite misses. Surf doesn't knock me out.
Nice.
And then I miss again with Bite.
Oh,
so it's actually in a
that's
better position
so
than it
tough.
started. I'm
The smoke screen with leftovers really helps this
gonna
thing.
go for Ice Beam after it goes for Dragon Breath, and man,
oh.
Ice Beam did a lot.
Oh, bro, fear the
Unfortunately, Kingdra
Kingdra.
had Hyper Beam and knew to use it at the perfect moment.
Yeah, that's exactly what that Kingdra did. Exactly what it was designed to do. It was a big RNG fest, and sometimes you get unlucky.
Victory
Second
Bell
time
outspeeds,
around, though.
Razor Leaf knocks it out, and
That's
we have
the dub.
defeated. And that probably means the Elite Four is going to be next to impossible. Super excited about this.
Yes,
Alrighty,
I love
so
the
Will is
appreciation for the
Psychic
difficulty.
Trainer. We have a Houndoom and 2 Psychic Pokemon. Should be
I am okay. Yeah, he's leading Houndoom on the Girafarig. Listen, this is just a case of fuck around and find out.
He leads with Girafarig. We still have Bite.
Oh,
it goes for Agility, then Rock Smash.
There's the Rock
but
Smash.
We're okay
Yeah,
so far.
He's good. He's good.
Slowking comes out next. We get the Clutch Flinch.
Oh, okay.
And we knock
He's
it
good.
out.
He's good then.
Slowbro has better defense than special defense. Thankfully, it doesn't have a water move.
golden.
So it can't knock me out, and we get another
Oh
Clutch
man,
Flinch.
yeah.
Espeon outspeeds and goes for Headbutt.
Espeon
Girafarig
is
has
scary,
Earthquake,
but
after
he is
Reflect, that does like nothing.
definitely
I
chilling.
can use Thunderbolt, which does slightly more, and Espeon's having a hard time knocking it out until it gets the special drop and then knocks
that's
it
so
out with
unlucky.
Psychic. Lantern is able, hopefully,
Yeah,
to
he's
finish the
golden,
job.
though. This is
it hits
not
itself in confusion, and
too
then
bad.
it hits with Thunderbolt. Doesn't quite knock
Oh,
out
man.
Zaxi, which has. But anyway, Kadabra outspeeds, knocks it out
Okay.
with Thunder Punch.
So he got the win there, but he is like looking mid 40s, which is definitely low. We nuzlocked this at 50, but he's also going blind. So
Not too bad. I mean, on paper, I have a really, really strong team against the Elite Four.
yeah, his team is great actually.
But, so Ariados is at
Okay,
level 50,
we're
which
on
is way
to
higher.
Koga.
Kadabra one-shots with Psych.
Honestly, Kadabra Alakazam makes this fight pretty free. I think he should be all right, even with it just being a Kadabra. Wait a second. Kadabra evolves at 42? Did he choose? He must have chose not to evolve it.
Psychic. It doesn't one-shot Venomoth, who goes for Sludge Bomb.
Oh.
And I believe Venomoth's attack has been buffed.
Yes.
So that's great. Giraffe, Crobat then outspeeds and goes for Bite, knocks it out.
Curious if
I
this
have
will trip him
Lantern.
up.
I'm going to use Thunderbolt. You might wonder how I outsped. That was the Quick Claw.
Nice.
I had that equipped just in case, and it worked really well because we got the Paralysis, the Parahacks, and now we just have to deal with a Minimize Muck with
Super
really good
annoying.
attack. Houndoom Flamethrower crit is really useful.
Yeah.
Vaporeon Surf does a
probably
lot,
fine here.
but Toxic, and this is clearly the strat.
Nice.
Toxic and Minimize. And now out comes Quillfish, something you don't see too often. Quillfish goes for Sludge Bomb, which does a ton of damage. It then goes for Toxic, Protect, great strat there. Sludge Bomb knocks out Lantern, but we have Victory Bell hopefully to finish it up, and it does.
Sweet.
I don't think the crit mattered. I mean, the next one's Bruno too, so
he should be pretty good for Bruno, I think.
I'm going to lead with Kadabra because fighting type, psychic type, this should work, right? Let's hope. Bruno leads with Hitmonchan. He usually led with Hitmontop, or he always led with it. It goes for Pursuit and one shot. Darn.
That's
Next
tough.
Comes Heracross goes for Megahorn.
Woo.
Yikes.
Woo.
So I'm going to go for Houndoom with Flamethrower. Not enough.
Oh, no.
Cross Chop knocks it out.
Oh, no.
Giraffe outspeeds, thankfully, and levels up here after a Psychic. Machamp, it doesn't one-shot. Cross Chop does one-shot.
Oh, the killer,
we only have
dude.
2 Pokemon remaining. Victory Bell, I go for Sludge Bomb and
Nice.
knock it out. And
I think
now
he's
the
got
final
this.
Pokemon's Hitmonlee. It goes for Meditate.
Hitmonlee's not
I poison it.
the worst.
Body Slam's not enough to knock out Victory Bell.
Nice.
So far,
dude, he's
so
doing
good.
well. Again, this is blind with very underleveled Pokemon.
But the one trainer I have the worst matchup against is Karen.
I am really excited to see his reaction to Karen's build.
First things first, I lead with Victory Bell and go for Sleep Powder, but it's got a Miracle Berry. Thankfully, I'm able to use Sleep Powder through the
Just get this thing out of here, man. You don't want to risk the Baton Pass double team. Like, it's rare, but that on Gengar or Houndoom is just terrifying.
Umbreon, that was a lot of luck. Gengar is probably going to go for Psychic, so I go into Houndoom.
Nice.
It goes for Hypnosis, but I have a Minceberry equipped.
Let's go.
From all the way back when I was battling Morty.
Love that.
Bite is not able to one-shot, and I am confused, but I predict the Shadow Ball. I go into Giraffe Rig. It avoids the Hypnosis,
Big
and
Earthquake.
I knock out Gengar.
He's looking
Murkrow
pretty
comes
good.
out next. I have Giraffe Rig and Vaporeon. I go to Vaporeon. Unfortunately, a very
that's
crit.
so unlucky.
I don't know what to do. I go for Giraffe Rig.
I don't like that.
And crunch one-shots easily.
I don't like that.
I go into Houndoom, which really doesn't have anything good against another Houndoom. Then again, its Houndoom has nothing good against me, and I get a clutch flinch, but that's going to be the battle.
Looking at the health this thing has, the Surf would have got it. That is really unfortunate.
And
okay,
Gengar,
so round 2, he's got a new friend for this fight.
And we don't knock it out. Huh. That's okay. Alakazam
there it
here.
is. He did
It
choose to
outspeeds,
evolve it.
And while I'm very, very sad we had to evolve Kadabra, it feels like this hack has warranted the more powerful Alakazam.
So it's very common to only run Kadabra through Gen 2 since you don't have trade on an emulator. He just wanted to run Kadabra because he likes the Pokemon more, but this ROM hack is definitely designed to evolve into Alakazam.
We're going to lead with Lantern because I'm expecting Gyarados. But one thing I've noticed is that he loves to switch up the team order. For a blind playthrough, this is really fun because I have no idea what's coming out. It should be Gyarados. He should have a Gyarados, but...
Yeah, I didn't want to switch up Lance's lead. It just felt too iconic.
This is Lance, the champion battle.
Yes, sir. Here we go. Champion fight.
He does lead with the same Pokemon, Gyarados. It goes for Rock Smash. It has leftovers. And it's able to knock me out with Hyper Beam.
There's the Hyper
That's
Beam.
Not great, but Alakazam
Fear the Hyper Beam.
has Thunder Punch and knocks out
Nice.
Gyarados. Anyway, Dragonite has Extreme Speed. It knocks
there
out
it is.
Out.
Okay.
Then it goes for Thunder.
Here's the Ice Beam.
With Ice Beam.
Oh, that's not good.
Okay. Now out comes Zapdos.
There it is.
Wasn't expecting that.
Yes.
Sky Attack is a one-turn attack in this game. Great.
Yes.
What the hell is
I love this.
I have no idea what's going on now.
Dude,
in case you're wondering what my genuine at the time reactions were the same. I can't believe there's a Zapdos. All right, that's going to be really, really difficult.
Dude.
We don't really have a great counter. I mean,
yeah, he does not have an answer to that thing at all. I guess his answer would be like Lantern, which kind of sucks as an answer, but like that's probably his best choice. Okay, so this is going into his third fight.
I'm not saving in front of Lance. I'm allowing myself to lose.
He's getting the levels,
wow,
which definitely makes sense.
Buying more potions and revives and hoping the slight levels I gain from beating the Elite Four will help me.
Yeah,
so,
I think he's looking
a
good.
A little bit of bad paralysis luck. We still knock out Dragonite. Lantern gets knocked out by Zapdos,
goes
which
down.
Sucks. It may have been able to do a little damage. Sky Attack actually doesn't one-shot Alakazam.
The range,
and
the
because
miss.
It has a chance to miss. It misses,
okay, so he went the Alakazam. So obviously that was super lucky, like range to not die and the miss. But I mean, listen, that stuff's gonna happen.
Might be the opening I need to win.
Yeah, that
Alakazam
really
does
is
a ton of damage to Charizard. Houndoom has bite. Still
I think
no crunch.
Charizard's
we get
probably
the clutch
down
flinch.
here. He's
Feint
one
attack
level
knocks
off
it
of
out.
crunch.
Aerodactyl, Rock Slide. Okay, that's fine.
Aerodactyl's scary. Always so scary.
Does a ton of damage. Surf does a lot.
Not
and
enough
with
to
Quick
kill,
Attack, it
but there
knocks
we
it
go.
out. Now,
dude, it's not the Dragonites that are scary on Lance. It's the Zapdos followed by Aerodactyl.
out comes Dragonite. Hyper Beam
Oh.
does knock me out.
Oh, no. Dude.
Remember,
if he can get a sleep.
Victory Bell can put it to sleep.
Yeah.
It's going to Miracle Berry. It Hyper Beams.
Oh,
so
no.
I get 2 turns here. Turn 1, I go for Psychic. Special Defense fell. Turn 2, Hyper Beam.
Oh,
and
there it is.
Girafarig.
Let's go. The clutch
was able
Girafarig.
to tank that Hyper Beam.
Dang.
A Pokemon that doesn't get nearly as much love as it deserves. And what I loved about this Elite Four run is
let's hear
every
it.
single one of my Pokemon played an integral role in this victory. While the team is just my favorites, it's not really intended to have a type balance, as evidenced by the 2 Psychic and 2 Water types. They do balance each other relatively okay.
I think it's actually a pretty good team because like Lantern kind of serves as an electric type that also, I don't know, it's got coverage against ground. Like it's kind of its own thing. And then Girafarig is also kind of different because it's got immunity to ghost. So I don't know. I like the team. I think it's pretty good. Yeah. So I really just want to see his reactions to like the general feel of these first few gym leaders. He wipes the Surge his first time.
Surf, truly genius stuff.
Oh,
and why I like showing the Kanto battles. Because it's little changes like this that make this game so much more fun to play.
Yeah,
even Kanto.
I love
this
that.
Team has synergy. Look at that explosion. This feels a lot like I'm playing Pokemon Stadium 2 in the best way possible.
Oh, I love to hear that.
Earthquake's still really good. Thunder doesn't knock me out, but because I'm paralyzed,
100% accuracy. Thunder's scary. I really just appreciate what he says about like the synergy. We really wanted to make Kanto just feel like competitive teams.
Thankfully, Thunder misses, and then the next quick attack does.
A few more runs there. This is his first one down.
7 going to be. This is actually really cool. As someone who plays a lot of Gen 1, this is great.
Heck
I decided to battle Erica next. She has 6 Pokemon, and they're super high level. But I have a much better matchup against her, and I would
he did not have the team
to
for
get
Surge.
Giga Drain.
Okay, so yeah, nothing crazy for the Erica fight. He had a pretty good team for it with Psychic and Fire.
It's unable to outspeed me, and we first try Victory Erica. Much more difficult, but
still a grass type.
Anyway, the next trainer is
goes Janine.
and we should have the best matchup against her because we have 2
should
Psychic
be very
Pokemon,
easy.
Wait. Oh my gosh, that's Bright Powder. You never
There's
see
the
that item
Bright
in the
Powder
base game.
strats.
It's held by legendary birds when transferred to Gen 2, but it gives a very slight chance of missing, and we've actually lost.
Wow, the
to
Bright
a
Powder
trainer that
gave him
we
the
had
loss.
An amazing matchup against. And now Muck, it's good, but we have a lot of Pokemon remaining.
Yeah, so and there you
Still,
go. Another
look how
run.
tanky it
You
is.
kind of get a feel
Look how
for
strong
it.
it
You're
is.
good.
But Girafarig with Psychic is able to
Nice.
take it out. And I'm impressed how good Janine was considering the significant type disadvantage she has against me.
I'm actually glad to hear that. I was a little worried that Janine was going to be easy, so I'm glad she provided some difficulty.
This is good stuff, guys.
Yeah.
There are a ton of trainers on the way
Misty.
to Misty. So my Pokemon are going to be at much higher levels. I wanted to battle every single trainer, not just because this game is tough.
That swap.
Wow, great prediction there
swap.
going into Quagsire.
Yeah.
And looking
Second
to have
Kingdra
anything
in the
great
game.
versus Lantern. It can rest, which is going to be super annoying. and I was expecting Sleep Talk,
Easy
which
crit.
I got.
Nice.
But then we have
This is
Victory
looking
Bell
pretty-
to go for Giga Drain and restore
pretty
most
done.
of its HP. And since we outspeed and Surf
Nice.
doesn't knock it out,
Nice.
that's a W. That is 4 Kanto gyms down.
Okay.
2 of them.
So
We have
this
2
is
psychics and a
getting into
dark
the harder
Pokemon.
fights.
But yeah, here's Sabrina.
Right.
Giving these trainers 6 Pokemon makes a ton of sense. Mr. Mime comes out. There is no fairy in this
Easy.
game, so it is super
Easy.
effective when I use Crunch. Next comes
Easy.
out Jinx. Jinx has
How
lower
new?
defense than special defense.
Great
so Crunch
Pokemon.
again.
Great
Slowbro
Pokemon.
will tank Crunch. Surf doesn't knock me
Okay.
out, however, so that is 3 Pokemon knocked out by
Yeah, he's
Houndoom.
crushing this, but
Wobbuffet, it can use Mirror Coat or Counter, and unfortunately,
goes
this time
for the
Crunch being
counter.
a physical
There it
move
is.
hurts. Out
If
the
he can get
Hypno,
one
but
Crunch,
not before it's
yeah,
significantly weakened.
I think he's pretty
My
golden.
Alakazam outspeeds
There
her
it is.
Alakazam because, just like
Man.
in the regular Crystal, these Pokemon don't have stat experience, which will make mine, even at lower levels, outspeed and deal more damage.
Yeah, we're thinking about making some of the very, very endgame fights have stat experience. The player's Pokemon basically get additional stats, which gives them like 5 to 10 levels on top of what they actually look like. You know, and that's why you'll see like his Alakazam outspeeding Sabrina's, even though it's like way under leveled.
And let me just say, I know I've said that I like this game, it's difficult. This is exactly the type of difficulty I would have wanted as a kid.
I love
it's
that.
It's not so difficult to have to know every single Pokemon mechanic.
Yeah, you also like can just run the Pokemon you want, as you can see here, which I like that he's just running a team he enjoys.
The fact that we're not easily trouncing this game with Pokemon that, for the most part, are considered to be pretty good, just speaks to how well designed it is.
Yes,
there are
thank
only
you,
a few
thank
gym leaders
you, man.
left.
That's
Brock,
awesome.
It
So
goes
Brock,
for Giga Drain and knocks out
dude, you got a
Bulma.
Victory Bell. This is a
Aerodactyl
free
is ready.
fight.
Steelix comes out, which isn't actually a rock type, but is the evolved form of Onix.
Yep, that's
Lantern
it.
is able to use Surf and comes so close to knocking it out, but we're going to give Alakazam, who's a little under leveled at this point, the KO. Tyranitar is the final Pokemon. I actually messed up and thought that was the last Pokemon. So this could be a little scary. I'm going to send out Girafarig to weaken it with an Earthquake.
Okay.
It goes for Curse. That's not good.
Kinda scary.
Crunch, even with Reflect,
Kinda
is going to knock
scary.
it out. But I think after
But
Curse, we're not just going to
nice.
outspeed, but we're going to
Nice.
one-shot with Giga Drain. Victory Bell,
Yeah.
very
I don't know. Brock is like super threatening, but just not necessarily super hard. This is the fight I'm really excited to see. Will he struggle on Blaine?
But for now, I'm going to go and try and defeat Blaine. He's using Sun, which makes my water Pokemon not nearly as effective. Thankfully,
Here it
his
is.
Magmar
There's the
doesn't
Sun.
have Solar Beam, but it does have Confuse Ray.
Super
and
curious.
It's done quite a lot of damage. Unfortunately, because it took
Okay,
so many
he doesn't have
turns,
Sun
the
up.
Sun is down, and because of that, none of his Pokemon can use Solar Beam instantly.
Yeah,
which
he's
is good for me.
in a very
it
lucky
also means
spot.
I can anticipate Moltres using Solar
Yep.
Beam and go into Victory Bell. I'm just going to let Victory Bell faint because it doesn't really matter. It's not going to be super useful in this
Nice.
battle. Arcanine has Extreme Speed, which is really good, but Leftovers on Lantern with its great HP
Nice.
makes it very hard to knock out. It does have Sunny Day, and it's going to start going for Solar Beam, I thought. No, it went for Hypnosis.
That's
Interesting.
so
Well,
weird.
after it missed twice,
But-
I was able to knock it out. Not
Okay,
really
that actually is the best weather team in Kanto, and he just totally pieced that up. I think it's really for Blaine is if he can keep Sun up, he wins, and if you can manage to keep Blaine's Sun away, then you're probably gonna win.
Well, Blue leads.
There's
with
Blue. We've got 2
Articuno.
fights left. Yes.
Okay, and it, of course, has Sky Attack, which knocks it out again instantly. I'm going to go into Lantern.
My man needs Rock
It goes for
Slide.
Toxic, and I'm not able to knock it out. Then it withdraws to Machamp.
Whew.
I'm poisoned, so I'm going to keep Lantern in. Earthquake does a lot, and
Whew.
thankfully, Toxic doesn't knock me out. I'm able
Nice.
to knock out Machamp, and I'm even
So
able to...
originally that would have been a Rhydon, which would have just been like a free kill, and you know that it did something there.
It has Reversal, which is interesting, and
Okay.
Victory Bell is able to
Nice.
knock it out. We also
he's
can't
picking
outspeed
it up. Like, you
Articuno,
could see
but Girafarig
doing a
will.
lot better.
Then there are just 2 Pokemon remaining. Arcanine has Crunch. We have Earthquake, and Crunch does way more. Now we have Vaporeon, which
Vaporeon,
is
that
perfect
should
for
be
Arcanine. It uses
good.
Curse, and we knock it out. We're at level 59. Alakazam goes for Thunder Punch. Surf does quite a lot.
Ooh.
Recover does not enough. And we're going to use Quick Attack and knock it out.
Nice.
Once again, every Pokemon playing an
Okay.
integral role in a major
GG,
battle.
dude.
That's really cool. Now all we got to do is talk to Professor Oak, and then we can battle Red. All right, Professor Oak, open the way. What? I've already
must
battled
return to the Elite Four.
So it turns out in Crystal Legacy,
Yeah.
you actually have to do Elite Four rematches. before you're allowed to challenge red.
I'm curious if he'll like this or not. We just wanted to add extra XP for the red fight.
Well, I'm going to go do that, but I also do something else. Because it's a day of the week where the rival is here.
Oh, he's going to fight the final rival?
I don't know if you're ready for this. So you might notice I don't have 6 Pokemon. We don't need to win this. I start with Alakazam, I go for Psychic, and it getting knocked out is fine. Now what I want to do is go into Victory Bell. This is the most important.
What is this
knock out Ursaring,
strategy?
And here comes Crobat. I just need Crobat to knock me out, and preferably not use Double Team a million times, because it is. I'm going to go into Houndoom. I wanted to go for Fly before, but here we go. It has leftovers, and you can thief leftovers.
Oh.
And whether we win or lose, we will have a leftovers
there it is.
on our Houndoom.
There it is.
This process can be repeated until you have 6 leftovers,
yes.
1 for every Pokemon.
Dude,
and since there really
I
aren't
love
many
this.
good items in this game, having leftovers on all the Pokemon, especially with all the troll strategies that the AI likes to use, super, super helpful. For the same...
Yeah, so yeah, you can also do that for all the gym leader rematches, and it was intentional. Like we wanted to give more items to people, so I'm really glad to see him taking advantage of it.
For the sake of completionism, I'll talk a little bit about the Elite Four members. They're mostly the same. The big change with
it's
Will
pretty
is that
similar
he has
fights.
A Ninetales now, which isn't
Looks
Psychic
like
type.
he's
I guess
kind of flying through.
You get a little bit different for Koga with his Parasect, a Gligar. And that's going to make things a little different. And he was definitely tough, but nothing too difficult.
Yeah, the E4
Bruno
rematches
has
aren't
Felix now
crazy.
leading off, which is interesting instead of his Hitmonchan. He has an Ursaring now, which I wasn't expecting. But fundamentally, similar type
Pretty
of
similar.
thing. Karen still leads with Umbreon. I wasn't expecting that. And otherwise, her team is exactly the same. And as you'll notice, I'm sorry the footage is going by so fast, I was able to first try every single member of the Elite Four.
Oh, we had the
and that
Mischievous,
brings us
right.
to Lance. I wasn't sure if Lance was
So
still going to
Lance
lead with Gyarados, but I was
is a
banking
little
on it,
different.
and Lantern
I don't know if you like Lance.
Dragonite is level 70, and it goes for Curse. Ice Beam doesn't one-shot, but because
Nice.
of Curse,
So
its
he's looking
speed
pretty
is
good
lowered,
through
and we're
here.
able to knock it out. Next comes out Charizard, and it does a lot of damage to me, but I do even more damage to it with Surf. Lantern has nearly swept through the entire
all
team,
right.
and Alakazam will revenge KO Charizard.
Curious what he's gonna...
Tyranitar is a terrible matchup, so I'm just going to go for Reflect. I do actually live on a slight bit of HP. Now I can swap into pretty much whoever I want. I'm
really-
going to go into Vaporeon with Surf.
Doesn't seem
It's
to
gonna
be
one-shot
struggling too hard with this
Tyranitar,
fight.
And Aerodactyl Sky Attack, especially after Reflect.
Team is in good...
Easy
yeah,
peasy.
there it is.
I've been very positive on this hack for the most part, but this is the change I actually didn't love so much. Because the Elite Four, although they had some different moves and some interesting strategies, they weren't that much more difficult. In fact, it was a bit of a step down from the first battle, just because there's so many trainers and Kanto was actually pretty difficult. It would have been nice just to get to Red. I mean, it's not that bad. More content is always good, but it felt like a bit of a weird choice with the rematch battles being so similar to the original battles, with the exception of Koga.
Okay, I'm actually really glad to hear that. I think of everything, that was probably the section of the game I put the least effort into, and I just wanted to add more content. Exactly. So I'm actually really grateful for the feedback, because again, like, I get it, it's okay, but it doesn't have quite the oomph, and it hasn't had quite the love that some of these other teams have been given. So possibly for the Kanto update or something, we'll make the rematch a little bit harder. We're also thinking about adding stat XP to all those fights to make them that much harder.
But now everything is done.
Right.
Everything is done.
So it's
All
time
we
for
have to
Red.
do-
Now, Red is tough, but there are some people that are saying Red needs to be harder too, and I'm kind of thinking I agree. Curious to see what he'll say.
Further, let's see how this went. Red still leads with Pikachu
93.
at level 93.
Big boy.
It goes for double team, and although Victory Bell resists,
So the 93 was intentional to give it similar stats to what a roughly 81 Raichu would be.
because it's 30 levels lower, it's going to be a two-shot, and we don't knock it out. Alakazam does outspeed, but Pikachu clearly has Light Ball and obliterates Alakazam.
Yeah, there it is.
This is
It
not
does have a
going
light
to
ball.
be. Alakazam doesn't one-shot Pikachu either.
Woo! Pikachu
so
throwing that
leading with
heat.
it is a bad call. I don't know what we're going to do. I guess Victory Bell was the correct lead here. This time we don't miss after double team, and so we've made it to
Okay,
Snorlax
so he's
at
got
level
the
75.
answer.
Not so bad. we put Snorlax to sleep, and we're going to go for...
That's the other thing. People have been saying the Snorlax is not strong enough. It needs rest. It needs to be a higher level. The Snorlax is a menace as expected.
But Snorlax is just completely running through my team like it is tissue paper. Vaporeon will knock it out, and that's going to bring in Venusaur. We don't outspeed, however, and Giga Drain...
Okay, so clearly, like, just the comparison between the Elite Four to this is like... Dang.
However, did you guys watch the video where I beat Crystal with just an Abra, including one with only physical moves? Because there was a strategy I used there that might work really, really well.
Dude, he's teaching Alakazam dynamic
punch. In the meantime, I can go to Alakazam.
Nice.
We knock it out, and look at that. Mewtwo with Shadow Ball. And look at that face. That is the face of a man that was not expecting Mewtwo with Shadow Ball. And, well, it took me quite a few Pokemon, but we do knock out the Mewtwo. Of course, now Snorlax is just going to absolutely destroy
This is what I love
to
see right here.
Last time. I get past Snorlax, so I think this is a new PB.
Okay.
But Venusaur, we've seen
and there
it before.
It is.
It's just going to destroy.
Yeah. Okay. I'm very curious to see what this winning fight does.
Finally, we get the sleep.
Okay, so
Giga
sleep,
Drain doesn't do as much as
Pikachu.
Sludge Bomb. I was just curious, and we have a full health Victory Bell. And interestingly enough, it is not Charizard, but Snorlax that comes out. And I'm just going to damage it with Victory Bell as much as possible. Dude. Snorlax.
If a Pokemon learns sleep in Gen 2, it is S tier. And this is just an example of how.
Actually stays asleep, and Victory Bell completely knocks out Snorlax. Charizard comes out, and I'm going to go into Vaporeon. It goes for Fire Blast. I'm worried about Sky Attack.
Oh, yeah, Outrage.
It actually goes for Outrage, and because of lefties, actually, we would have survived even without lefties. But whatever. Things are good. Now, I have Victory Bell, but I'm going to go into Houndoom.
He's playing really hot here.
Offense. It puts Houndoom to sleep, which is unfortunate.
Sleep sucks.
I'm hoping I wake up soon. But I actually get
the swap to Blastoise, dude. It's crazy to see how... Okay, so we didn't touch the AI at all, but this just shows, like, all we did was give the AI better tools to work with, and it now has the capability to make better decisions.
A swap. That means I can send out Lantern, and Venusaur is almost knocked out. Easy to revenge kill for Alakazam.
That's nice.
Earthquake does a ton of damage, but I'm thinking Victory Bell is going to knock it out if we outspeed. We don't, but Ice Beam
that's pretty good. He gets a heal.
So Giga Drain will do the job. Now out comes
Mewtwo.
It's Mewtwo. It's probably going to go for Psychic, so I go into Houndoom.
I also just love he has the entire team rocking leftovers.
Houndoom, it's probably going to go for Submission, but I don't know what I want to sacrifice. I'm going to sacrifice Vaporeon because it's got a bunch of HP. Now I go into Girafarig. It goes for Submission. I go for Crunch.
Goes for the
With
Crunch.
lefties, we should be fine. 9 HP
nice.
remaining. And now I'm going to actually do something a little tricky.
What is the play
it
here?
almost worked. I wanted Submission to knock...
I'll let him say it.
Do something a little tricky. Oh, it almost worked. I wanted Submission to knock it out.
That's smart.
Darn it.
That was really smart.
My whole plan. But as I send out
goes for it though.
Again, Submission will knock itself out. Venusaur comes out.
And that should
be
it.
Speed, and we win. What a game. What a battle. Oh, wait. Huh? What? Wait, now there's Mewtwo?
Yes.
Okay. Is this going to be like a level 200 Mewtwo or something? I hate this. You finally beat the final boss, and there's a secret... okay, you know what? We can save. It's fine. And wait, this is a wild Pokemon. Oh, and we're healed anyway. I have my Master Ball.
Yes. He goes for the catch.
Okay. GG?
He's just so confused.
Let's go. Anyway, thank you, SmithPlays, for making this game.
Yes, sir. All right. I think overall it sounded like he enjoyed it. It's so awesome to just have someone as experienced as J-Rose with like older gen games just give his thoughts on this. So huge thank you again to J-Rose. I'm a big fan of the guy myself. I've watched a ton of his videos, so also it's just kind of special in that way. Go check him out, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.